Hey, everybody, welcome to the Online Edge podcast. Our goal is to help you stand out in digital media, and today we're going to be talking about something that almost every business that is in the client services business cares a lot about, and that is digital reviews. So, I'm going to have a couple of questions for Luke. Luke, you may have a couple of questions for me. I don't know. I may just interview you the whole time. You may have zero questions for me because you may have no questions whatsoever about reviews because you've been doing a lot when it comes to reviews for the last couple of weeks, and so you have there's been a lot of work when it comes to that. For
reviews are a lot of work.
It's
a lot of work.
Well, you got to get them right.
Yep.
It matters how we respond to things,
negatively or positively. You got to get them right.
That's exactly right. So, first of all, I want to acknowledge that every business that does a lot of business is going to drop the ball at some point. You're going to get negative reviews online at some point. I want to talk for just a second. I want to give a couple of disclaimers when it comes to managing your online reputation, your digital reputation, and then I'm going to have some questions.
Okay.
So something I get on a very regular basis. It used to be all the time, but it came up this week, actually. Questions that I get, one of them is, hey, because a lot of times we'll have, marketing companies reach out all the time. I've got clients that tell me they get 5, 6, 7 calls a week from marketing companies trying to get them to come on and work with them. A lot of times the sales tactics that they use are absolute bullcrap. And one of the areas that their sales tactics are absolute bullcrap just so happens to be centered around online reviews. So here's a scare tactic that you may have heard, and if you haven't heard it, you will hear it. Somebody will say that they've done an assessment of your online presence, and they will say that there are 72 search engines. That's the very specific number that I hear over and over and over again. There are 72 search engines that you do not have your profile set up on properly. So just for a second, because here's what happens for everybody. Oh my God, there's 72 and I'm only set up properly on 2 of them. And so there's this oh crap moment that takes place for just a second. Now I want you to name 5 search engines. I can't name 5 search engines, and I've worked in digital marketing for 10 years. Can't name 5 of them. If we start talking about Facebook being a search engine and YouTube being a search engine, I can expand it a little bit. But we got Yahoo, we got Bing, and we've got the almighty Google, and those are the search engines that I can name that
Google
people
taking 55%
use whatsoever. It's probably more than that.
I think the most recent statistics are 55% goes to Google, and then the rest of them take up a little piece of the pie from that point.
It is, at the end of the day, you do not have time to worry about 72 search engines, almost all of which you cannot name. You also, if you go with some company that's telling you they're going to manage 72 search engines, I don't even know what that means. Like from a standpoint of somebody who's worked in the digital marketing space for a long time, whenever I hear somebody say that, I'm like, you're just kind of talking gobbledygook. You're trying to talk over clients' heads. They don't know this stuff, so you're taking advantage of a lack of information out there, and you're trying to freak them out. And I get it. It would freak me out too if I didn't know better. But we know the statistics. We know the platforms to actually focus on and the ones that actually matter. And so as a result, man, don't ever fall prey to the scare tactics of stuff. If it's something you've never heard of before,
there's probably a reason.
There's probably a reason you've never heard of it before. And most of us, sometimes we forget to actually think like consumers. We can get into those moments. You can even do that in marketing where you forget. You can think about a piece of marketing as a marketer and pay so much attention to, is it beautiful, and is it doing all the things that kind of fulfill us as marketers. And at the end of the day, that's not the point. At the end of the day, it's how does this information translate and get in front of somebody else? And if you can't step back as a business owner or as a marketer and think like a consumer, then you've put yourself at a huge disadvantage. So remember, yes, we're business owners. Yes, we're marketers. First and foremost, we're consumers. And so a lot of this misinformation that hits, man, it's think about it like a consumer. If you've never heard of it before, there's probably a reason you've never heard of it before. So with a little bit of that misinformation out there, hopefully debunked a little bit, let's talk about the real information and Google reviews, Facebook reviews matter. And so while there is some misinformation out there, that doesn't mean that we just need to all of a sudden start ignoring reviews. Those things matter. We need to be building businesses that are fostering a culture of having our clients who love us talk well about us. And so talk to me a little bit about, let's talk first about how to foster that culture of getting good reviews. And then I want to talk about what to do inevitably when you get a bad one. So good reviews first.
Cool. So are we talking about how to actually expand your...
You've had a great, let me give you a scenario. You've just had an opportunity to serve a client really, really well. They got, whether it was fantastic results or whether you just did a great job. And at that point, okay, if this person would just think for a moment in time about leaving me a review, I know it would be a good one because they are so excited about the job I just did for them.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. So everybody likes to talk about when they're right. And when they've completed a project or whatever it is with you and it went really well, they like to talk about how they were right in choosing you to be the person to do whatever that was, right? And so a lot of times, though, people don't think about reviews unless it's negative. They're the only time that people think about, I have to go leave a review now, is when they're pissed off and there's nothing else for them to do except for to bash you online. So the best way to build 5-star high quality reviews is by actually personally reaching out to them. The most effective way is you as the business owner or the salesperson or whoever who has the best relationship with that client. When that job is done and everything is perfect and they're saying, hey, thank you so much. This is so awesome. We love everything you did. By you taking that extra second to say, hey, Joanne, we really appreciate your business. We're so excited that you're thrilled with the results here. Would you do us a huge favor and leave us a 5-star review? We're really trying to grow our online presence. And by you leaving us a 5-star review, it would help us out so much. Typically, just like that, they're going to be like, oh yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Well, send me the link. And if you just have that link copy and pasted in your notes and you're able to just send it to them just like that, within 5 minutes, you'll have a review posted.
That's a great strategy of having it just ready to go at that moment because you can forget. Sometimes it gets off of their mind if they get it 2 days later.
People's lives are so busy that a lot of times they do forget. And so you almost have to have like a list of people you've asked to leave you a review and then just check up with them because a lot of times, even though they want to and they may have the intentions of doing so, sometimes it just takes that last little nudge of like a couple weeks later. Oh, hey, Joan, we didn't see a review yet. We just wanted to reach out and see if you had a chance to leave us a 5-star review. They're typically like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'll do it right now. And then you typically get it on the second round. But sometimes you have to have a little bit of a follow-up process because people get so busy with their life that, they just get distracted.
Even that's really good where we're talking about just not letting it slip through the cracks. So acknowledging that people are busy and if they said that they wanted to, trusting that, hey, they want to leave a review. And so that just that little follow-up can matter a lot. I want to take something that you said and then in this context, because in this context it works perfectly, asking them to leave a 5-star review. If you know you did a 5-star job and they're ranting and raving to you personally about how awesome you were, there's nothing in the world wrong with saying 5-star at that point. If you're putting out there for your customers in general to leave you a review, that's just fine. But just call it a review at that point. Because at that point you're not pressuring them to come in and say something that isn't true. You're leaving yourself open for real reviews to come in. And in some cases, reviews can actually serve you in a way that you didn't expect. Sometimes reviews can show blind spots and actually help you improve your business. We all know reviews that have come through that are just
fake. Either your competitor, a pissed off employee.
It might be straight up. Maybe they clicked on the wrong business. That happens before.
That totally happens.
I've had clients in Texas call me up and be like, "This person doesn't even live here. We've never heard of this person in our lives." That can happen. It can happen where, there have been times where we've seen disgruntled former employees. We've seen competition. We've seen it all. But there's also times where a review may come in and something slipped through the cracks, and maybe you found out about something about an employee that you didn't know before, or maybe you found out about a blind spot that you didn't know about before, and it was an opportunity for you as a business to improve. We got to be people who, at the end of the day, it becomes all about, we just want to get better, because if we get better, we can serve our clients and customers better. And if we serve them better, we're going to grow. That's part of this. That's part of a growth strategy. And so don't automatically just dismiss every review. I've seen reviews before that were 3 paragraphs long, and 80% of it was just like, oh my God, they overreacted, or oh my gosh, that's not, they blew that way out of proportion. But was there 2 sentences in there that were absolutely true? Yes. Take him on the chin, improve it, make it better, and then now we've got a chance to respond to that person, thank them. Hey, you're right. We dropped the ball in this situation for sure, but in this kind of thing specifically, sometimes just owning it. Hey, we dropped the ball in that situation. We want to make it right with you, but we also want to let you know, man, you've opened up our eyes to something. I've seen responses like that before. I've helped craft responses like that before. And sometimes a couple of things can take place. I've seen 1-star reviews turn into 3 and 4-star reviews based off of a proper response. I've seen 1-star reviews turn into 5-star reviews. I've seen 1-star reviews deleted when you responded well. So they're like, hey, I'm still not going to leave you a 5-star review, but I'll take the 1-star review away. I won't make it hurt you.
And honestly, though, you get credibility
Absolutely.
with your negative, because at the end of the day, you can have 65 5-star reviews, and if you don't have any negative, people are going to be hesitant to start maybe wondering, are they out there just cultivating reviews? Like, are they buying reviews?
Right.
Like what there's nobody out there that's perfect. Like, we're all humans, so we're gonna drop the ball, piss somebody off. Or somebody's just going to have a bad day and they're just not going to like us, and something's going to happen, and so if we don't have negative reviews, I'm not saying go out there and get negative reviews.
Yeah, that's the goal is not to get negative reviews.
But I'm saying the benefits to that is all of what you're saying right now is in the response. You have all of the opportunity to prove to the person that if it's a legitimate complaint, okay, we thank you. We acknowledge that we messed up. How are we fixing it, or how did we fix it? And then give them an opportunity to reach back out. Like, hey, we'd love to have a conversation with you again about how we fixed the problem and how we can potentially maybe win your business back. Leave that information there, and then people are going to read through that stuff, and they're going to be like, all right, were they combative or were they empathetic?
Right.
Was it dismissal? Or did they accept the fact they messed up, and what are they doing about it? So and that's the game changer.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about what to do when you get a great review, because you said respond to all of them.
Every single review should be responded to.
See, a lot of times I think people will ignore the great reviews.
Oh, it's so easy to do.
So what do we do, and what's the opportunity in a moment?
Thank them for taking the opportunity to leave them a review. I mean, every single time somebody leaves your review, especially if they're leaving a paragraph about the experience, it took time. So at least thank them for the time given to give you the review. So that's, and express how appreciative you are for their business.
So it's one more opportunity for a touch point at that point. It's just one more opportunity to say, hey, this person cared enough about my business to stop their day and write this paragraph, sometimes 2-3 paragraph review. I'm going to take enough time out of my day and respond with the 2 or 3 sentence thank you. And it's just one.
And it's not a copy and paste. It can't be a copy and paste.
That's really good.
It's got to be custom to every single person.
Yeah. So it may be, hey, they loved your the restaurant one's so easy, because I leave a lot of restaurant reviews, and because if I get a great experience at a restaurant, I want to sit down and talk about it for a second. But restaurants can live and die by reviews, and so that's one of the reasons that I know in those moments I'll stop and respond. And so moments like that, what you can do is show, hey, I sat there and read your review. Let them know, hey, I'm so glad you liked that sandwich. We're going to leave that one on the menu for a long, long time, or something to that effect. Something that lets them know you cared enough to actually read what they said, and that you cared enough to write a response that was custom, like you said, to respond to them. Not just a thank you, not just have a great day, but a response specifically to what they said was good.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long. It just, as long as you can pull a piece of information out that they brought up.
Good.
That's perfect.
Let's talk about what to do in a moment. I've seen this happen a lot on Facebook, and I'm sure Google has it too. I've seen it very, very, very frequently on Facebook where somebody would leave a review, and I get a call from a client, and they're like, hey, we have a new review today, and we don't know this person. This person doesn't live here. This person, it's just not
real.
It's not real. That didn't happen. I don't know who they're talking about. Maybe they clicked on the wrong page. We don't know. Maybe it was malicious. We have no idea. It wasn't real. What do we do? And so in situations like that, there's a couple of recourses. One of them is if you have a ton of reviews and that took you from 4.9 and it didn't move you at all, you're still at 4.9. And it was just simply a 4-star review without anything written about what took place or anything like that. You may not do anything. In all likelihood, you want to respond in some shape, form, or fashion. Here's what I typically recommend. We can respond to those reviews and actually not respond to the review itself, but we'll talk about, there's two different things here. So you can actually let Facebook know that, hey, click a thing, report the review, and let Facebook know this person doesn't live in our town. We've never seen this person before. They're not talking about anything relevant to our business whatsoever. This is just not real. I have seen a couple of dozen times those reviews come down. Facebook won't respond. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. We're so sorry. It just disappears. And I've seen that happen couple of dozen of times. Also, one of the things that I often do is comments on there. Hey, we're sorry that you had a bad experience somewhere. We actually have no record of you coming into our store and I'll say the name of the town, that kind of thing, so that there's like, oh my God, how did I get here?
Yep.
I didn't even realize I had left a review on this page. Sometimes people are just so mad, they just clicked on the first thing they saw and left the review or whatever. And so I've seen people take down reviews before. Regardless of which one, whether Facebook beats them to it or they take their own review down, I want both of them to have an opportunity to take that down and take it down pretty quickly. And a lot of times those reviews come down within the day or a couple of days if handled like that and handled correctly. So if you feel like you got a legitimate fake review or a legitimate, that's just not what happened at all in the situation, you can reach out, try to handle it that way, and see if you're a little bit beholden. You don't have a delete button, but see if you can just get either Facebook or the person themselves to acknowledge and take care of that themselves.
And Google has something similar with that where you can dispute reviews, but
Okay.
I've never seen a review removed.
Okay. So it's a little bit different.
So it's a little bit different on Google. The biggest thing, Yelp is a whole nother category. I don't even know if we have time to go into that. We probably don't. But Google itself would be the same example of just listing out, hey, we don't have you in our client list. Maybe you had an experience somewhere else, being empathetic the whole entire time,
right? And
then leaving a way for them to reach out, showing that, hey, we'd love to get on the phone with you and try to figure out exactly what happened and work through that. Please give us a call. Here's our customer service number. Or if you're the small business, here's my direct number as the owner,
right? And
sign off on that,
right?
Is the best way to go. And then people going through and reading that information and going, oh, hey, maybe they reviewed somebody that's wrong, or something along the lines of that. Now, I have seen people use that response to every negative review.
Me too.
That is a big negative.
Totally agree.
Because some of those reviews, you go through and you read the details and you're like, this is legit.
Right.
This person had a legitimate complaint, problem, whatever it was, and this business owner is completely just trying to write them off,
right,
and make believe that it oh, I'm so sorry, but we don't have you in our system. And so you have to be careful with that response, but you can read through those and know which ones are legit and which ones are not.
If there's a review, here's kind of the filter to put that through. If you got a review on your page, it's highly detailed, and it sure as heck seems like they got a great story. You better be careful with that review at that point. You need to respond and just ask them to call, but don't do we don't have you in our system or anything like that. You got to be very careful with those. Don't copy and paste anything when it comes to reviews. That's the moral of the story. Every single one of them deserves the 30 seconds of a thoughtful response.
It takes time, but it's definitely worth it.
And we've helped clients craft these before, and there's been times where we've taken a day to just say, hey, we want to make sure that this gets done right. It sometimes taking a day means that you respond, that the business owner, man, these are personal things to us, right? So when somebody is blasting your business, sometimes you want to respond out of emotion. If that's the case, put the phone down, take a day. You know, it'd be better to respond to it right away, but not if you're going to respond with a highly emotional response. Put the phone down, take a day, and realize other people are going to be reading this. And so you want to respond in a respectful way, even if you don't feel like they respected you, because other people get to see that interaction. It's not a private meeting. Other people get to see that interaction, and they're going to judge you based off of
almost
that.
Everybody's judging on those negative reviews. Nobody's going through and really reading the positive. The positive matters in your total overall count because you need to have a good rating. But at least for me and for most people that I've talked to about reviews, most people are going through and finding the negatives and reading the negative and then reading what the person said in response.
I'm going to counter a little bit. I do that, but I also I will read positive reviews. I just won't read only positive reviews. So I try to do a little bit. If it's a big investment for me, if it's a restaurant, that's a little bit different. If we're talking about like somebody who's going to remodel your home and you're going to spend 5 digits with this person, you want to make sure, you want to see what the reviews are like. And so I will read positive reviews because I want to hear what people who loved them said. I'll read 3-star reviews. And we're smart people. We can figure out if these are not just legitimate, but if these are, my gosh, they nitpicked on that one, didn't they?
Well, there's some people that leave a 4-star and everything they said in the review is a 5-star.
Right.
You know, there's some people that just won't leave you a 5-star, but
there's also people who leave 3 stars and it was like, what, you got that hung up on them being like 10 minutes late one of the 7 days that they were there?
Yeah.
You got to get over yourself just a little bit, dude. That sounds like they did a great job. So you've got those, but then again, a lot of times those 3-star reviews can be educational for you as a consumer. Like, okay, this is what you like, this is what you didn't like. Sometimes pretty rational people leave 3-star reviews. And I will read some 1-star reviews. And under certain circumstances, there have been times where I've said I'm not going to do business with this person. And it's more on the response of the company than it was on the response of the 1-star review.
Yep.
Company's willing to make something right. My gosh, we're willing to overlook a lot of things if somebody owns something and then they make it right. But if you try to gloss over it,
point fingers and blah blah blah. Definitely no.
Consumers are like, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I get that. I mean, because again, we got to put ourselves in the seat of the consumer. Take off their marketing hat, take off our business owner hat, and be consumers for a second, and think through what are consumers actually looking for. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Stay tuned every single Thursday for a new podcast. We hope these things are helping you out, and so that we can all grow our businesses through digital marketing.
Hey, and if I can throw this in there, if there's something you guys want to hear from us, explain, leave that in the comments.
Really good.
Drop in the comments if there's something you want us to hit as a topic. Throw that in and we'll talk about it.
If you got a question, if you on a specific topic when it comes to marketing, digital marketing, throw it in there. We may spend a whole episode on it, but we'll answer the question regardless. Thanks so much. We will see you guys next time.